All right, guys, so we're back, and this time we're talking about the Dana 44 Wagoneer front axle. Now, I've already gone through the process of cutting this weld, knocking the knuckle off, coming in 4.5 inches, cutting the tube, getting the knuckle back on, and welding it. So if you haven't seen my videos on how to do that, go over and watch those. But I kind of wanted to just kind of go over the dimensions that we decided to go with and why we did it, where we ended up, and did we get what we wanted out of it. So before we started, and if you went and watched the last video, this will kind of be a little bit repetitive, but I wanted to go over it again. Your stock Wagoneer leaf spring axle is going to have a center pin and this cast part right here. And then you're going to have your leaf spring pad over here. And the distance between those is 32 inches. Now, we're building this for a CJ7, and we do not want to move the springs. Don't want to do anything with that. So your easy math is just to say, well, to go from 32 to what a CJ is, which is 27.5, you're talking 4.5 inches. So the easy way to go about this is just to come in 4.5 inches and be done. That we're not messing with the passenger side. We're only messing with the driver's side, and it just makes it much, much easier to deal with. Now, did we end up where we wanted? Well, I had a set of CJ30 knuckles just sitting around, and I wanted to show you guys that this is why I built it this way. So this is just an old tie rod off a wide track 30 that I had laying around. And again, you can actually see that this may be actually a slightly narrower housing than your narrow track 30. Now we're going to make up that difference with our spindles and our wheel hubs. So instead of using the CJ spindles and wheel hubs, we're actually going to be using small bearing Chevy spindles with your Ford rotors. Because if you actually look at this side is pretty well straightforward. And again, I don't have a tape or anything on this, but just kind of visually, this side is actually out, a little bit. And as you can see, we don't have much in the way of thread right here. But if we come on to this side, man, we got a lot of thread here. You got almost 1/2 inch that you can bring this in. And I also would recommend, if you start getting into steering and doing stuff like that, get yourself a tap for rethreading some of these tubes. But the nice thing about this front axle is you're going to be able to go right back in with your stock steering setup with this axle, as opposed to changing all that over to maybe 1-ton stuff, or however you would want to do that. You're going to be able to go right back in. This is going to be pretty much the exact same width, maybe a hair wider, but you're not going to have to change a whole bunch of stuff on the front to make this work. This is going to be a dang near bolt-in option. You might have to adjust this, and even if you had to cut this tube down just a little bit and thread a little bit deeper in here, that's doable. And this is just using your CJ30 knuckles. Now, obviously, you can change these out. You can run the Chevy knuckles or the Jeep knuckles if you really, really wanted to. But again, I just kind of wanted to show you the benefits of building something to these dimensions, as opposed to just throwing something in there that's wider and not necessarily set up for what you're trying to do. I think it's going to, make a whole bunch more work for you down the road, and it's not actually going to benefit you in the long run. So, all right, guys, if you like this video, hit the like button, share it, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.